What if we took Luke Skywalker, this man here, sent him on a bunch of fetch quests and side missions? Ooh, and we'll have him use his force powers on some noodles. Or at least that's how I imagine the pitch meeting for this book went. Welcome back, my name is Jason, and I'm currently attempting to read all the Star Wars books, or at least the good ones. And I just finished reading Heir to the Jedi by Kevin Hearn. This book is considered canon. It was actually one of the first books published under the new canon, and it takes place right after the destruction of the first Death Star. Now, overall, this is one of my least favorite Star Wars books I've read so far. It's not even that long, but I struggled to get through it. But I think it's extra unfortunate because there are some aspects and ideas in this book that I really liked. For one, this book is told in first person from Luke's perspective. And I've come to realize that most Star Wars books are in third person, so getting this like deeper internal monologue from Luke was really interesting, especially since this takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. At this point, Luke still does not know who his father is, so throughout the book, he's sort of trying to work out those emotions. He's also dealing with the fact that he wants to become a Jedi, but just really has no idea how to do that. Obi-Wan Kenobi is gone, he hasn't met Yoda yet, so he's sort of just like bumbling around without a teacher trying to figure out what his next step is. And of course, we're seeing how Luke, who is now considered a hero of the Republic, is still very much out of his depth. Practically yesterday, he was a farmer boy, and today he's expected to be a leader, and that's a lot to put on anyone's shoulders. Unfortunately, all of those great ideas are wrapped up in a story that is so tedious. Essentially, the mission is to free an alien codebreaker who has fallen into Imperial hands, and along the way, he recruits Nakari Kellen, a character who has her own beef with the Empire. Luke and Nakari actually end up like crushing on each other, which is really cute. But these characters are essentially doing what boils down to a really long role-playing game fetch quest. Go to this planet, pick this thing up, take it to this planet, get this thing, now go here, now go there. And none of it is ever really very interesting. Oftentimes, my favorite parts of this book were when the characters were just sitting somewhere chatting about their lives. Because these characters, both old and new, are interesting. But this mission they're forced to undertake is just not. Because by the end, nothing really new is gained. The characters don't really go anywhere, emotionally or physically. There are books in the Star Wars Legends category that feel like they matter more to the story than this, which is actually canon. And that's not great. I have really loved so many of the Legends books that I've read, and so far I'm really struggling to find something in the new canon that I actually like. But I'm holding out hope. Okay, there's gotta be something good out there that's released since 2014. There has to be. But it's just not this. Okay, if you are also trying to read all of the Star Wars books, or at least the good ones, you can skip this. I promise you are missing nothing. Well, that's not completely true. There are two scenes where Luke uses his force powers on a bowl of noodles. His first time really digging deep and using his telekinetic powers, and it's on noodles, which, you know, not the most heroic of moments to whip out the telekinesis. But we've all got to start somewhere, right? Have you read Star Wars Heir to the Jedi? What were your thoughts? And what Star Wars book do you think I should read next? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go attempt to move some ramen with my mind.